Chiefs Kingdom, welcome into a brand new episode of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jackson Durham, and day one of NFL free agency is coming to a close, and the Kansas City Chiefs were pretty busy with a grand total of 3 signings or retains, plus letting 2 players walk that ultimately got deals from other teams already. So we're going to recap everything that the Chiefs did on the first day of free agency, and we're going to give them some grades for the signings that they made. Here, let's go ahead and get into that recap. But before we do, make sure you are subscribed, guys, because I don't think the Chiefs are quite done yet. I think they have a restructure plan to create some more cap space over the next couple of days. Looking at Trey Smith there, looking at Creed Humphrey there potentially as well. And I think they're going to look to continue making signings. I think they want to continue to add in the front 7 especially. So lots to look forward to and a lot of reasons to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the news. But let's get into that recap of everything that they did. Starting with the 2 players that they let go. Jaylen Watson has been not released, he's let go into free agency. He signed a $51 million 3-year contract with the Los Angeles Rams that'll pay him $17.5 million annually. And then also in the secondary, Bryan Cook. He gets a $40.25 million total deal over 3 years with the Cincinnati Bengals that'll pay him $13.4 million annually. No guarantees yet on Cook's deal. Jaylen Watson got over $30 million guaranteed from the Los Angeles Rams. So hefty paydays for both of those guys. And we'll get into the decisions that the Kansas City Chiefs are kind of making as far as the secondary goes, how they tie into the Trent McDuffie trade a little bit more later on today's show. But let's get into the signings that the Chiefs made. The more exciting stuff here. Obviously, letting guys go, that's not any fun, but bringing guys in, that is big time. Nobody likes to give their gifts away, but everybody likes to get presents, as it were. Kenneth Walker coming in for a $45 million contract over 3 years with $29 million guaranteed. Massive upgrade in the running back room with the Seattle Seahawks running back and the reigning Super Bowl MVP. We'll talk about him in just a minute. Khyris Tonga is coming in as well. Big defensive tackle, from the New England Patriots. He gets a $21 million deal over 3 years with $14 million of that guaranteed. And then lastly, but absolutely not least, the Kansas City Chiefs finally get the deal done with Travis Kelce. The details on that one we have now. We talked about that a little bit when we talked about Kenneth Walker's contract earlier today, but now we have the details. It is a 1-year deal with $12 million as the base and up to $15 million in incentives for Travis Kelce. So let's start breaking all of this down. Starting with the clear goal that I think the Kansas City Chiefs have established for us over the last, I think you could say 6 days, really, is what it's been. I think 6 days since the McDuffie trade at this point. Number one, you just let $215 million in new contracts walk or get traded from your secondary in the last couple of days. $215 million was handed out to Trent McDuffie, Jaylen Watson, and Bryan Cook. Because if you missed it last night, we haven't talked about this on the channel yet either, Trent McDuffie got a mega deal from the Los Angeles Rams that makes him the new highest paid corner in the NFL. So I think the Chiefs' goal here, I initially thought they were going to retain Jaylen Watson. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I thought they made a decision there between keeping Trent McDuffie or keeping Jaylen Watson. They decided to trade Trent McDuffie and get some draft value, and I thought the then next step was going to be keep Jaylen Watson. Retain that element of the secondary. Don't let too much go. But now it's clear to me that their goal is to overhaul this entire unit. That their goal is to go young and ideally cheap all across the board in the secondary, at corner and at safety. So I don't expect splashy signings to replace these guys. I expect draft decisions to replace these guys. You could be looking at Caleb Downs at 9 if he's there. I think Caleb Downs' draft odds, Mansour Delane's draft odds, Jermod McCoy's draft odds all should be spiking for the Kansas City Chiefs at number 9 right now, because your need to get better in the secondary is now glaring. It is now enormous. I like Noel Williams. I believe in Christian Fulton's ability. But you can't just move off of 3 guys who were full-time starters for you last season and not make big moves to replace them. And you missed out on a lot of the splashy names at corner and at safety on day 1 of free agency. You didn't go out and get any of those guys. So now it's going to become draft related, in my opinion. It's going to be about Brett Veach trying to lean on a skill that he's had over the last couple of years of drafting well when it comes to defensive backs and late down the board. And he's going to have to reenact that stunt, I think, multiple times this year. One of them is going to have to come early, but I think you're also going to have to get some later down the board as well. So why go cheap along the secondary, though? To spend elsewhere, to help Patrick Mahomes directly and to ensure that your money is funneled directly into doing that. That's the primary goal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you see that with the signing of Kenneth Walker, which I promised you guys we're going to get to. And you see that with the retaining of Travis Kelce. And you see that with some of the smoke that we've been hearing over the last couple of hours that the Kansas City Chiefs, or really a couple of days, we've been hearing this for a couple of days now, that the Chiefs are interested in adding another offensive tackle, wanting to get better in the starting group, wanting to ensure that depth is as good as it possibly can be after the release of Jawan Taylor. Like I said, guys, we are going to break down the Kenneth Walker contract in just 1 second here. But before we do, shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Prize Picks is simple to play, guys. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. Guys, I have got my lineup going for tonight's basketball action. I'm going with Kyle Filipowski's more on the rebounds and assists. I'm going with Jalen Brunson's more on the rebounds and assists, and I'm also going with Kawhi Leonard's more on the points. So you can join me and millions of other users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Indeed it is. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs made the right decision with the signing of Kenneth Walker today. I already gave them a lot of props for this, but this move is an enormous upgrade. And now we're finally getting into the grades section of this video, and it is a big, big A+ for me. An A+. I don't care that the Kansas City Chiefs spent a lot of money on a running back. I don't care. I don't care about all the people out there that are going to tell you, oh, this is too much money for a running back. If you think that you don't know the Kansas City Chiefs and you didn't watch them last year and you don't understand how important getting better on the ground is for this football team, it really is. I mean, I truly think this team is 4 to 5 wins better if they could have consistently established the run last year. If they could have been able to get explosive plays from that group with any sort of consistency, or even, it didn't even have to be consistent, just at all. Like, that group generated no explosive plays. I think 1 from Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt combined last season. The rest of your explosive runs came from Patrick Mahomes. It was unacceptable, and Brett Veach, props to him, did what needed to be done to go out and ensure that we did not come into another season with that kind of a running back room. To go get a flashy free agent who can get the explosive plays that you need. We saw that from Kenneth Walker in the Super Bowl alone. What did he have, 5 runs of 10-plus yards or more against the New England Patriots? A run defense that had been stout all season long? He gashed them. He gashed everybody in the playoffs. He was fantastic last season, and he is a great addition to this football team, as is Khyris Tonga. This is another big add. He's a really, really big body at defensive tackle, someone that's going to come in and stuff holes in the run game. That is exactly what he is. He is a gap filler. He is a run run stopper at the end of the day. He is a big upgrade for the interior of this defensive line. He doesn't offer you a ton as a pass rusher right now, but he's also somebody who's still developing. At the end of the day, I think Khyris Tonga absolutely is. He'll still coming into his own. And if he could give you more of his ceiling as a pass rusher, this could be a signing that has enormous upside for you. But I think even with what he is just right now, at $7 million a year for a plus run stopper, for somebody who does their job very, very well, and at an area of need for this Kansas City Chiefs team, that is a B-plus signing at easily. I mean, I think it could go higher. I'm going to go B-plus here, but I think it is a great move for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen over the last couple of years the value of interior defensive line is skyrocketing in the NFL. And I'm not just talking from a contract perspective, but track the trends in the draft. Look at the way these positions are getting drafted earlier and earlier every year. I think 2024, we really started to see that kick off with T'Vondre Sweat going in round 2. I think that turned a lot of heads, especially with some of the things he had off the field, but it just shows the value that teams are willing to place in the defensive tackle position. We've seen that increase every single year. I think Khyris Tonga is a great add, a big part of the Patriots' success last year. Really, really good signing for Brett Veach once again. And lastly, bringing back Travis Kelce is a major win. I think it is a major win. $12 million a year for a tight end who made the Pro Bowl last season, had over 800 yards receiving, was top 3 for tight ends in receiving last season in the entire NFL at 36 years old. That is a bang for your buck signing. And maybe most importantly, it ensures that Travis Kelce does not go suit up for another team. That will not happen. And as Brett Veach, your job should be to ensure that things like that don't ever happen. Because a franchise player like that should never be suiting up for another team. I don't know if it was just a negotiation tactic to get the Chiefs to forfeit over a couple more $1 million for the sake of his agents, really. We all know Kelce doesn't really need it. But even if it was, hey, it worked because I was worried. I think a lot of Chiefs fans were worried for a second there. And what in my heart, did I really think Kelce was going to go suit up for another team? No, not really. But the fact that it was even on the table is worrying enough that I respect Brett Veach being like, no, that's not happening. We're getting this deal done. We'll pay you what needs to be paid. We will do what needs to be done to ensure that a franchise legend, one of the best players to ever play for this franchise, does not go suit up for the Cleveland Browns or the New York Giants or some other team out in free agency that would have thrown a couple million at him for a 1-year deal. Not acceptable. Travis Kelce started his career in Kansas City. He needs to finish it in Kansas City, and it seems that he absolutely will on this deal. And it's not just about legacy. Like I said at the beginning of this, another huge part of why you bring back Kelce, even if he wasn't a franchise legend, he's still just a productive player at this point. He's still good. There were some key drops last season. Absolutely there were, but you still see the flashes of what is going to make him a consensus first ballot Hall of Famer when the time finally comes. This is an A signing for me as well, if I didn't already say it. Let's go back through the grades one more time for you. Kenneth Walker signing K9 on a $45 million 3-year contract. Patrick Mahomes gets his guy in the backfield. That is a whopping A+. That is huge. Every Chiefs fan should be fired up right now. Like today's video if you haven't already. If you are fired up about the signing of Kenneth Walker, as fired up as I am, because seeing him in the backfield with Patrick Mahomes, that's going to feel a lot better than seeing Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt back there. No disrespect to those guys, but I mean, we all know. We all know. Khyris Tonga, another great signing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll give that one a B+ at $21 million, over 3 years. And lastly, the retain of Travis Kelce. That is another solid A for me on a 1-year, $12 million contract at the base with up to $15 million in incentives. You guys let me know in the comments what was your favorite move that the Kansas City Chiefs made today, and make sure you're subscribed and locked in for tomorrow's video where we'll break down everything the Kansas City Chiefs do tomorrow. I think there is more coming. I can't promise you guys that, but I absolutely believed it to be true, and I will see you when it does.